Hi everybody! Hey, it's Miss Mary back again with another virtual story time from Midpoint Libraries. Are you having a good summer? I sure hope so. Are you ready for a story? Let's find out. If you're ready for a story, wave hello. If you're ready for a story, wave hello. If you're ready for a story and you want us all to know, if you're ready for a story, wave hello. All right, so I thought today we could read a couple of books written by the same author. You know, I like to do this every so often. Find somebody who has some really good books, create some really good books. And so today we are going to share two books written for us by Jason Carter Eaton. Okay, now this first one is called Great. Now we've got Barbarians. And this was written by Jason Carter Eaton and illustrated by Mark Fearing. It comes from Candlewick Press. Before we get started though, we should talk about what is a barbarian? Well, a long time ago, even before I was born, back in ancient times, there were bad guys who would go from where they lived and go to another country or another town and just take over and say, oh, yep, this doesn't belong to you anymore, now it's mine. And those guys were called barbarians. Now there's a lot more to the story than that, but we'll save that for history class. This is preschool story time. So that's enough about barbarians, bad guys who come in and take your stuff, okay? Great, now we've got barbarians. Mom was mad because I left cupcake crumbs in my bed again. If you don't clean up after yourself, she said, we're going to get pests. Mom always makes a big deal out of little things. Pfft, what's the worst that could happen? We get a couple of ants, a few flies, a tiny little mouse. But the next day, great! Now we've got barbarians, said my mother. His name was Vlad, and he demanded an entire cupcake. I thought he was kind of cute, so I handed him one. But Mom said he was disgusting, and she showed him the door. I figured that was the end of our pest invasion. But that afternoon in the playroom, I ran into Thor, who'd come seeking glory and cheese curls. I swatted him out of the house before Mom could see. Things quickly got worse. My sister found two shaggy barbarians on her bed, watching TV and finishing off a bag of chips that I had started earlier in the week. When my dad turned on the garage light, a whole bunch of surprised barbarians scurried off, leaving behind yak pelts and horned helmets. This sounds pretty awful, doesn't it? And then Mom caught a big bearded barbarian in the bathroom putting on her makeup. I explained that maybe he thought it was war paint, but she did not buy it. There was no more denying it. We had an infestation of barbarians. I did not think they were so cute anymore. They picked all the marshmallows out of my cereal when I wasn't looking. They used my school supplies to scratch their hairy backs and my toys to clean out their ears. And when I got into bed, my blankets and pillows were gone. The barbarians had taken them to make forts. Vlad and Thor couldn't agree on whose group got the popcorn kernels and whose got the half-eaten sandwiches. So they each declared crumb war on the other. Their battles raged all night. We set traps, but that hardly slowed them down. We made a scare-barian Kind of like a scarecrow, but for barbarians. A scarebarian. But barbarians are not easily scared. The house was filled with snoring, snarling, belching, badgering, grumbling, growling, loitering, looting, and lazing savages of all shapes and sizes. "It's time to call the exterminator," said my mom. "Yep," said the exterminator. "You've got barbarians, all right. One of the worst cases I've ever seen." Dad looked around the house sadly. "Ugh, looks like we're out of options," he said. "I guess we'll have to move." I couldn't avoid it anymore. There was really only one solution left. I cleaned up every crumb and sticky candy wrapper I'd ever left around the house. Months of slobby snacking and messy habits all went into the garbage. As I cleaned, the barbarians grunted in disgust and skulked out the door. That's a good word, skulk. Do you know what that means? It means to walk in a kind of sneaky but sad way. Just skulked out the door. Finally, only Vlad and Thor were left behind. I handed them the trash on their way out. I realized that Mom might exaggerate sometimes, but that doesn't mean she's wrong. We're going to repeat that line. I realized that Mom might exaggerate sometimes, but that doesn't mean that she's wrong. From that day forward, I made sure to always clean up after myself. Unfortunately, about a week later, I forgot to turn off the water when I was finished filling up the bathtub. Look at that, all the water coming out of the bathroom. What do you think? Oh, great! Now we've got pirates. Isn't that silly? Great, now we've got barbarians. One of the things that I like about this book by Jason Carter Eaton is the use of the way that he uses the same sound in words over and over and over again. So for instance, let's see if I can find that now. Here, I want you to listen for the same sounds. The house was filled with snoring, snarling, those two words begin as belching and badgering, grumbling, growling, loitering, looting, and lazing, savages of all shapes and colors. So when a writer uses the same sound to begin words, several words in a row, there's a word for that. It's called alliteration. But what I want you to know, it's not so much the term, but that's a way that a writer can make the words kind of work together and give you a feeling, because as we heard each of those words, it's like they were building on each other to paint a really very clear picture. I like that. All right, so how about we share a song that, let's go with an old favorite. All right, everybody ready to get on the bus? Let me see ya. Are you driving it? What are the wheels doing? Sing it with me. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. Let's see what else. Oh, you're right, the doors. The doors on the bus go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. The doors on the bus go open and shut all through the town. Uh-oh. I can see out the window that it's raining. Let me see those windshield wipers. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 all through the town. That's a fun one. What the heck? Speaking of going all through the town, I have another book that involves somebody walking around the town. This book was also written for us by Jason Carter Eaton, and this one, the pictures are by Gus Gordon. This book is called The Catawampus Cat. You know what a cat is, right? Meow. Catawampus. What kind of a crazy word is that? I'll be honest, that's one of those grandma words that, you know, grandmas like to use. But catawampus means a little bit tilted. So I can hold the book up straight like this, or I can tip it to the side, and then you might say that it is tipped to the side, or you might say it is catawampus. I know, it's an interesting word, but that is our word for today, The Catawampus Cat by Jason Carter Eaton, pictures by Gus Gordon, from Crown Books for young readers. Here we go. The Catawampus cat arrived early on a Tuesday morning, slightly askew. Askew is another word that means tipped to the side a little bit. At first, no one noticed the cat. The town was a busy town, and the people were busy people. Tick, tick, tick went the town. Tock, tock, tock went the people. This is how it was every day, even Tuesday. The first to see the cat was Mr. Grouse the grocer, who tried to straighten him. So he took the cat and made it up straight. No good. What's with that cat? Said the grocer's wife, Lydia, who hadn't said a kind word to him in almost 20 years. You're asking me? Said the grocer. He must be hurt or curious or noticing something. So they both tilted their heads like this. Can you do that? Hold your head. Go sideways. And when they tilted their heads, they noticed something. That's where my ring has been, cried Lydia. I haven't seen that in 20 years. You know, said Mr. Grouse sweetly, from this angle, you look just like you did the day we first met. And they kissed, and on walked the Catawampus cat, still askew. Where he was spotted by the bored town barber, whose name was Bob Long. He was giving a woman a long bob. As he stared at the Catawampus cat, he tilted his head sideways and snip! He clipped her hair at an angle. Uh-oh, it had been cut like that. Now it's like this. Oh, I love it, shouted the woman. And on walked the Catawampus cat, askew as ever. And it passed a house painter who was busy painting the mayor's house. What a dull, uncreative job, said the painter as he watched the cat walk by. Okay, so right, he's painting, and then he watched the cat walk by. And it wasn't until he looked up at his work that he realized he'd been tilting his head. Look how he painted the house. What a brilliant idea! It's a work of art, said the mayor. When Captain Whizbang, the town daredevil, saw the Catawampus cat, he missed his jump over Dead Man's Gorge. No! But he landed in a geyser, and he set a new record for height. When the town librarian, Miss Reed, saw the Catawampus cat, she pulled the wrong book off the shelf, and then she quit her job and set out for an adventure. Ooh, adventure, I like the sound of that. Even Bushy Brows Billiam, who always sat at the back of the classroom and never noticed anything like what time it was or when class was over, he noticed the Catawampus cat and discovered that he could see better than anyone if he just tilted his head to the right angle. And Bushy Brow's Billiam set off a chain reaction. That means he caused something to happen and then something else happened, like this. Soon people began to talk and then to tilt. First their heads and then themselves, like the cat. They rebuilt all the houses so they were leaning and made all the cars off kilter. That's another way of saying tipped to the side. They spotted prized possessions they thought that they would never see again and rediscovered old friends they thought they'd never know again. Everyone was happy and slanty and Catawampus. Tock, tick, tickety went the people. Tick, tockety, tock went the town. Mayor Meyer decided to name the first Tuesday of the new year Catawampus Cat Day in honor of the remarkable cat. They all gathered in the lopsided town square and threw confetti at an angle from their uneven stage. Oompa, blared the off-key band as the Catawampus cat walked onto the stage and stared out at the town, now completely Catawampus. Well, what do you think of it? Asked the mayor excitedly. We're all different now, just like you. Everyone held their breath as they waited for the cat's reaction. Slowly, thoughtfully, the Catawampus cat blinked twice, blink, blink, and stretched and straightened himself out and walked back out of town again, once again, uniquely Catawampus. Isn't that silly? So the cat started off tipped to the side, and then everything got tipped to the side, so that when he went straight up again, it was all still tipped. You know what would have been really cool if Miss Alexis had set up the camera so it was tilted for that whole book. Well, that would have been silly, huh? Yeah. Anyway, that was The Catawampus Cat, our second book by Jason Carter Eaton. He's written quite a few fun books, and I encourage you to stop by the library and check some of them out. They're pretty fun. So I want to thank you for joining me again today for Stories and Songs. And I think next week, we'll share some books about rainbows. What do you think of that? Until that time, let's say, see you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile, give a hug, ladybug, blow a kiss, jellyfish, see you soon, big baboon, out the door, dinosaur, take care, polar bear, wave goodbye, butterfly. Bye-bye, everybody.